Hey guys, good afternoon, everybody. Today is Monday, May 9th. It is 2:03 p.m. Pacific time. Our mentoring session is scheduled to start at 2 p.m. So we're a few minutes late. Sorry about that. I just had to go and post up the results for today. So I was getting that done. But now that that's all done, I'm just going to finish setting up the room real quick and then we'll get started with our session for today. So let me just get this all set up right here. It's good. It's good. All right. A few more things here, and I think we're good to go. Let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. Looks like we're good to go. So I'll give it a few minutes for people to make their way in. And then we will get started with our session for today. All right, so looks like people are still making their way in, so I'll give it a few minutes. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. Otherwise, we'll just sit tight for a bit, let people join in, and then we can get started with the session for today. So let's see. All right, so people are still joining. We have one initial question from Purdy. Purdy wants me to go over the V3 strategy. She wants me to go over the fourth requirement. So once she makes her way in, we'll go over that. Hey, Solo, morning for you over there, afternoon for us here. And you've been up like all day. Every time I think about how you're up, like, because you're opposite time zones, crazy. It's opposite time for you. So just a reminder, guys, first question here is for Purdy. Purdy wants me to go over the K2 variation V3, basically review the fourth step. I'll go over the entire strategy and then we'll emphasize on the fourth step so that we can, make some sense of that for Purdy and whoever else needs the help with that there. But if you guys have any questions, feel free to put whatever questions you guys have in the chat, and then we will add them to the list. We only have one question lined up for today prior to this live session, which is Purdy's question. So, I'll take as much time as possible on that. And then once more questions start rolling in, we'll add them to the list. But just, a reminder to you guys, these sessions are only going to run for as long as we have questions. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat, because if we don't have any questions, we're going to have to cut these sessions a little shorter. And I don't mind staying on here as long as you guys have questions. Also, the market is closed right now, so we can't even look for trades if we wanted to. So I think we'll start off with that. So let's start with Purdy's question. So Purdy's question wants me to go over a V3. So let me see if I could find a V3 entry over here. See if I could find one, because there was see, around this period, because this period is more market ended up closing, but I think there was a couple that were over here. So let's see. I think there was one. No. Okay, so here's one right here. It's not a clean entry, but it is. Let me find one that's clean, actually, because I don't want to take one. I don't want to show you guys a bad example where you guys are going to develop a bad habit to thinking that, it's a solid entry when it's not. Let's go back over here. All right. It's a lot of choppiness because today is Monday, so there isn't really any clean entries here. There, up there. Let's go back over here real quick. It's hard to find one with, with the penny momentum. So there's no penning momentum here. Let's see if I can find one. There's penning momentums here, but it doesn't go with the, with the overall bias. Here, this is what I'll do. We're going to assume the bias because, I mean, we can't even check the bias right now due to the fact that it's so close to, the market's closed plus, it was like end of session plus it's Monday, because I do see examples here. I just don't see one with like a strong bias. So we have one that's right here actually. And I'll just use this as the example just to show you guys, kind of what we're looking for here. So here are the requirements for the V3. For the first requirement, we have to confirm the overall bias. The only reason I know that the overall bias here is a sell is because this is from this morning. So today we had a sell overall bias, right? So we already know that today was a sell. And that's why I know this example here would work because it lines up with exactly what we're looking for. So we're going to assume that the bias today was sell because it was a sell. And that's going to be requirement number one. So requirement one's been met. We confirm the overall bias is a sell. For requirement number two, you want to confirm the high low. So we have the high right here. We have low right here, right? We confirm both. For number three, you want to confirm the high is the green candle or low is a red candle. So for example, here we're looking for a sell because we have a sell bias. So you want to make sure that the high is a green candle. So the high right here is a green candle that fits the requirement. The fourth requirement here is to confirm that the following candle is the opposite color. So let me go back to your question here, Purdy, because I don't think that's the question that you had. Okay, for step 4, you're actually referring to step 5. So I'm just going to skip over step 4. I think you just got the numbers mixed up. But for step 4, you want to confirm that the following candle is opposite. So going back down the requirements, requirement number 1's been met because we confirm that we have a sell bias. For number 2, we need to confirm the high low. We've done that. For number 3, you want to confirm that the high is a green candle, which is right there. For number 4, you want to confirm that the following candle is an opposite color. So we have the high green candle right there. The following candle is an opposite color, which is red. With that said, we have all requirements here met. Requirement number 5 is the one that Purdy is having issues with. She doesn't understand how to confirm a pending momentum in the direction of the trade. Since we're looking for a sell here, the pending momentum would have to be a sell signal, right? So if you go back over here, you can see that the most recent signal that closed was a buy signal. If this is a buy signal, the next signal has to be a sell signal, right? Because it goes from sell to buy. So buy to sell, sell to buy to sell, right? It just changes because the momentum swings from sells to buys, etc. So with that said, we have the requirement number 5 met here because the most recent signal was a buy signal. So if you have a buy signal, the next signal has to be a sell, which is pending. So that's the requirement that you're a bit confused with, Purity. Do you understand it now? Where you're looking for the pending signal? Just want to make sure it makes sense to you before we move forward with it. So I'm just going to wait to see if Purity has any other questions regarding that, and then I'll just mark up the entry right here. Okay, perfect. Yeah, no problem, Purity. Yeah, I just want to make sure that you get it because I know this is something that some people get confused with. This right here is not it's not the best example. The reason for that is because there's actually no entry here. For the minimum stop loss requirement, you need at least 300 pips. The stop loss here is only 120 pips. So this here would not be a great example. However, it still would fit the requirements for everything else. So just using that to explain the fifth requirement, which Purdy had an issue with. If you let this trade run, you can see that it did hit full TP. So the main thing here is that there's just no example here. Thanks, Solo. Solo said there's one at 12.10. So let me go check real quick. 12.10. Oh yeah. Or I don't see one right here, Solo, because there's no pending buy signal. This buy signal is here already. So it might be 12.10 on your chart, but not on mine. So you might be referring to, yeah, 12.10's right here, but there's no, like I can mark it up right here. There's no sell right there, right? See 12.10? Or you might be referring to this one, 12.07. Is that what you're referring to? Okay, gotcha. Yeah, no problem. I was just confused because it was just a few minutes earlier. Let me map this real quick. Perfect. Okay, so this is actually a perfect example. Thanks, Solo, for yeah, no, you're fine. Thanks for telling me, because I didn't see that. But yes, this is actually a good example right here. Solo is spot on with this example. So this actually fits all the requirements. So going over the requirements again, the first requirement, you want to confirm the overall bias. Today, we knew that the bias was a sell because we were looking for sells today. If you guys watched the live session or missed it, just go back and rewatch the live session from today. We confirmed that the overall bias was a sell. So first requirement's met. Second requirement, confirm the high low. You have the high here, low right here. Second requirement's been met. Third requirement, you want to confirm the high is a green candle and the low is a red candle. So right here, the high is a green candle. We're looking for a sell since the bias is a sell, and this fits the requirements. So 1, 2, and 3 have been met. Fourth requirement, confirm the following candle is opposite, which would be right here. We have a high green candle. The next candle is opposite red candle. With that said, you can enter, or sorry, fifth requirement, confirm the pending momentum. So again, right here, same situation that we covered earlier. Since we have a buy signal over here, the next signal is going to be a pending sell. So with that said, we have everything lined up here. TP stop loss can be 400 pips. If it's a requirement here, minimum stop loss of 300 pips on the 1 minute, minimum of 500 pips on the higher time frame. Since this is 1 minute, 400 pips qualifies that easily. Other than that, you can enter on here. Once you have all the requirements met, we'll go over the requirements one last time. Confirm overall bias, it's a sell. So we're looking for a sell here. Confirm the high low, we have a high here, low right here. Confirm the high is a green candle, high here is a green candle. Confirm the following candle is opposite, which it is right here, it's a red candle. And lastly, confirm a pending momentum in the direction of the trade. So right here, we have a pending sell signal because we have a buy signal that's already valid, or not necessarily valid, but that is printed on the chart. So the next signal has to be a sell. With all of those met, you enter on the open of the following candle, which would be right here. You set your stop loss at the high low, which would be right here. Your TP is equal distance away for a 1-to-1 risk to reward, 400 pips. You let it run, and there you go, full TP. So pretty simple. I mean, that's the V3 strategy. If you're applying all of the requirements. So, I mean, it is super simple. Purity's asking, you mean the vertical line, right? Yeah, so the requirement here says to confirm pending momentum. So in order to confirm the pending momentum, you're using the K2 momentum indicator, right, Purity? So if you turn that off, there's nothing there. If you turn it on, it's the vertical lines that are on the chart. So yes, it would be the vertical. It's not necessarily a vertical line, it's the indicator. So I just don't want you to call it a vertical line, because if you call it a vertical line, this is a vertical line, right? This is not necessarily a vertical line, but it's just a vertical indicator. So just don't get it confused, because some people will say vertical line, they'll be like, oh, like, how do I get the line up there, right? Which it's, I mean, technically it is a line, but it doesn't, you don't want to mix the two up. All right, no problem, Purity. So hopefully that answered your question. We don't really have any other questions here, guys. So if you guys have any other questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. You know, this whole session is dedicated to you guys. So, you know, I'm just taking an hour out of my day to answer whatever questions you guys have, whether how basic or how complicated it is. You know, I'm here to answer whatever questions you guys have. So Go ahead and ask whatever question you guys need help with, and I can help you with whatever you want me to cover. But this session is going to go on for as long as we have questions. So if there's no questions, we're going to have to cut this short, which I don't want to. I want to help you guys as much as you guys need. So I'll sit around for a bit. Hopefully you guys have questions to ask. Otherwise, we're not really going anywhere with this session today. Seems like there's less people today. I'm not sure if people just forgot it was today or people are just not online. But yeah, typically it's usually a packed room, but today it's kind of a slow day for everyone. Seems like a lot of people are just offline because I think a lot of people took the whole thing where I discussed earlier, like basically once you guys are done, you hit your profit goal, like just call it a day. And I think that's what a lot of people did, because a lot of people did lock in some pretty solid profits. Going over the profits from this this morning. So Jamie said on Friday I took a loss on the breakout. Right after I took my loss, everyone made profit. I'm wondering where I went wrong. Did you rewatch the live session, Jamie? Because I'm not sure if you missed like what happened there. But if you remembered, last Friday was NFP. So you probably entered when we said not to enter. So I think that might have been the issue. Because the thing is, a lot of people entered the trades late. Well, they entered that specific trade late because we were waiting for it to come back down. So, I mean, I could go back and look at it. I know it was a sell, and I do remember it was a late entry because it was NFP. So I think you might have just not been there when it, or you might have entered the room late, or you just weren't paying attention when we were analyzing it. But I analyzed it like right before the entry. So let's see. And if you want to send in your parameters, like your screenshot of your loss, we can probably check to see what went wrong. But here, let me just pull it up. So basically, this was the breakout right over here. Actually, I can't even remember if we entered the trade later or not. I don't even think I traded on Friday, did I? Let me check. No, I did. So I did take the breakout, you guys. Yeah, let me see what happened with yours. If you could send in, or like if you have your screenshot of your loss, Jamie, this would probably help us like identify where you went wrong. I'm getting the days mixed up, sorry. So I don't know if this was the day that we entered late or the day that we entered on time, but yeah, no, actually, I think we did enter this on time. Sorry, I think I'm mixing up NFP with like the day before on Thursday, because I don't think I traded on Thursday. So on Friday, I did take the trade, the breakout, and I did take the TP on there. The day that I didn't trade was the 5th. Yeah, it was the day before. So I didn't take the breakout before that because there was no breakout, but there was one on Friday. Yeah, thanks Solo for confirming that. So let's just go over the requirements here for the breakout. Yeah, I'm not sure why you took the loss, Jamie. It looks like everyone else, I mean, because we do have everyone's profits here for that day. And it looks like, everyone here won. You might have been like, I think you were like the only person that lost that, because it looks like everyone here took the sell and they all won. So if you have a screenshot of your trade from Friday, I mean, we can take a look to see what you could have, I don't know, what could have been the issue, but I'm not sure exactly what you did differently, because the market opened right here at 630. So this would have been the first candle to enter. So if you entered this right here, so, here's the requirements. First requirement is to look for entry after market open, 630. Market opened right here. So you're looking for entry. The bias was a sell on Friday. The direction of momentum was a sell. So we were looking for a sell. We looked for the strong candle, which is right here. And this was the breakout. So, I mean, what could have went wrong is maybe your stop loss was too tight. Or you just put the stop loss in wrong, because it doesn't look like you got anywhere near stop loss. So Yeah, it literally went straight to TP. So I'm not sure how. It's like virtually impossible for it to hit stop loss if you did, if you set your stop loss properly, because there like price never went this high. So, and price actually went even further down. So it like never even went into drawdown. Even if you entered late. So like, I'm just going to show you examples here. So if you entered right here when on the first candle where you were supposed to for the breakout where everyone entered, you would have hit your TP right there. Even if you entered late down here, it's still impossible for you to hit your stop loss, right? So I'm trying to Solo City entered on the second red candle. I mean, even if you entered on the second red candle, there's still like a lot of space here for it to not hit your. I mean, there's like a 100 pip gap right there. So I mean, I'm trying to figure out like when you entered, because even if you entered like really late, so say if you entered like below here, you still like wouldn't have hit your stop loss. I mean, I don't know. Personally, I can't really tell. So JB, if you want to, like, if you have a screenshot of your trade there, if you can post it, we can look at where your stop loss was. So because your price number there isn't really gonna, let me see if I can. So your stop loss, it says you stopped out at 32,000, and let me put a line right there. I'm gonna try to see if I can find it. There's a price difference though, so it's not really gonna be 32,784, 45. So it looks like your stop loss was like way too low. Your stop loss is supposed to be 500 pips. So here's the markup. This is 500 pips right here. Your stop loss was like way down here. Not sure if you had it too tight or you entered like really, really late. Because if you entered really late, like in order for your stop loss to get hit right there, you would have entered like way down here, like on the third candle. But if that was the case, it still didn't pull up to stop loss, right? You still would have hit TP. So, okay, gotcha. So Jamie had her stop loss too tight. Okay, that makes sense. So there's where the issue was. So for one, I mean, there's a couple of things that you kind of did incorrectly here. Or I don't know if it was incorrectly or you just like reacted kind of later to everyone, or you waited for it to pull back. There's a lot of different reasons. The main thing here is that your stop loss was too tight. You have to understand that the spread is like, it was like 200 pips, right? So if your stop loss was 300 pips, you're already in the negative like 200 pips entering the trade. So looking at this right here, if you entered right here, like on the proper candle, you would have been perfectly fine if you had a 300 pip stop loss. The only reason I know that is because I entered with 300 pip stop loss, but that was because I was only going for 100 pips. If you entered right here and your stop loss was 300 pips, then yes, you would get stopped out 100%. I think that was the problem here. You entered late, and then your stop loss was also way too tight. So it did pull back, hit your stop loss, and come right back down. But if your stop loss was, at the proper level at 500 pips, you would have been fine. But it's okay. It's a basic mistake that you just didn't change your DOM. I'm assuming if you're using the depth of market, you just didn't change it to 500 because you're so used to taking the smaller moves where you had it set at 300. But it's all right. I mean, it happens. But at least you understand like what the problem was here. For the breakout, stop loss is typically supposed to be 500 pips. It's just a fixed TP stop loss. Typically for other strategies, like say the V1 or the pivot scalp, it's a 300 pip stop loss because it's a smaller and quicker move. There's less volatility during those moves. So there's no back and forth movement. It goes straight to TP. So, okay. So we do see where the issue was right there. Stop loss was just too tight. Other than that, I think that's it for that question there. Yeah, Jamie said that's exactly what I did. My stop loss was too tight. Now I know. What is the TP for the breakout? It's the same thing. It's 500 pips. So for the breakout, it's 500 pip TP, 500 pip stop loss, Jamie. It's for a 1-to-1. So, you know, it's pretty even risk reward. Strategy's high. It's a high probability trading strategy. So 1-to-1 is fine because typically, I mean, the strategy doesn't really lose. If you use the bias here, so if you use this requirement, I mean, typically it doesn't lose. Like I don't think we've lost a breakout in like weeks. If, you know, following the bias, as long as the bias is strong. So, oh gosh, yeah. No, Jamie said I had a TP, right? Stop loss is wrong. Now I know. Yeah, and it's good that you know now so that you don't make the same mistake in the future. You know, you gotta make mistakes. That's the only way you'll really learn. If you do everything perfectly all the time, you'll never learn. And then, you know, it's worse that you'll have that happen when you're like on a funded account. So it's all good. Now you know, Jamie, and now you can prevent that from happening in the future. All right, let me scroll up real quick. Next question is from Christian. Christian's asking, Sean, can I find the rules for the entries on the website? I usually have to read them when you paste them on your screen. So the rules are on the videos, Christian. I do that for a reason, so that you guys have to actually watch the videos. The videos are only like a minute or 2 minutes long. So, I mean, it doesn't take too much time to watch the videos and get the requirements there. If I put the requirements on the website, you'll never watch the videos and people will never understand what they're doing, right? They're just looking for a checklist. So you can pull up the videos on the website. That's where you'll find the requirements, and it doesn't take that long. I mean, if you really want to take the easy route, you can literally just you can just pull up the video here, and I'll show you real quick. Let me just show you. So say, for example, but I do recommend you guys watch the video because the video helps a lot when you're actually listening to me explain it versus, you know, me just giving you the requirements. Because it's always been an issue. What happens is I put the requirements on the video, like before I would put the requirements on the screen, and then I still get like 100 questions from the same person, like, oh, what are the requirements, or how do you apply this? And I'm like, did you watch the video? And they're like, no, but I have the requirements. So there's a reason why I did it that way. So here, let me put the strategy we just went over was a breakout strategy. So let me just show you real quick. Okay, so here's the course, right? If you want to look for the breakout strategy, you'll just go here to KTUS 30 breakout strategy, right? Start that. Video's right here. You click on it. And then if you really just want to get the requirements, you'll just go to the, let's finish this first. All right. There we go. So if you really just want to get the requirements, you can literally just pause it there, go to full screen, then just, you know, write them down from there. That's one way of doing it. However, I do recommend you actually watch the video and see the examples broken down so that you actually understand how it's applied. That's how you get the list of the requirements. Yeah, no problem, Christian. And I know you're trying to learn. It's just that and then I'm not referring to, there's just other people that are just like ultimately lazy, right? That just want everything like spoon fed to them, and then they don't get it, and they don't understand why they don't get it because they didn't watch the videos. So that's the way you guys would get it. But if you want to take the shortcut, just go up, pull up the video, and then just fast forward to the requirements and pause it. Yeah, no, definitely. Tiana said, I definitely watch the videos, guys. Lots of valuable info. Yeah, I try to give you guys a breakdown of everything. That's what these mentoring sessions are meant for, right? I give you guys the basics of the strategy, just the requirements. You guys apply them yourself. If you have any issues applying them, these mentoring sessions is where we go into detail because I can show you guys examples real time. I can show you how everything's done, you know, on the chart. So other than that, no problem, Christian. Let me scroll up real quick. I think the next question is from Akash. Akash said, sorry, Sean, not related to analysis, but have you ever lost a prop firm account after already obtaining it? Yeah, actually just did. So if you guys remembered with TFF, so this wasn't really my fault why I lost this account. It was more so their servers are just crap, right? Like, so for my TFF account, I got funded. I don't know, when did I get funded? I got funded a couple of weeks ago. I think it's over here somewhere. I posted the somewhere over here. Where's my thing at? Here, I'll just pull this up over here. See if I can find it. I don't even know where it is. But anyways, I posted that I got the funded account for TFF. And what happened was they changed servers as soon as I got funded, which is total crap because I passed the challenge and verification within within a week. I got funded and then my copier started messing. Well, it didn't really mess up. It was their servers. Their server slippage was too wide. So every time I took a trade, I would make profit on every other account except my TFF. Where is it at? Somewhere over here. Well, what happened here was so right here, you can see that I had half profit, right? It was hard for me to get out of that hole because it was either a loss or very, very small profit. Oh, okay, right here, this is where it was. So you can see right here, my FTMO accounts, I made 2,000. Made 1,000 off this account. MFF made 2,000. MFF made 2,000. My TFF negative 600. Right. This just kept happening every day. I would make profit on all my accounts except the TFF. So it just got to a point where I just didn't really care about the account anymore. So I took a trade on, I think it was last Friday. And what happened was the TFF account, the spread and slippage was so wide that I went into as soon as I entered the trade, I was already negative 2,000. My drawdown limit was 2,000, so I just automatically, violated the requirement. So that's one account where I've lost it. Also for FTMO, I lost an account early on because I traded during news when you weren't supposed to, and I held over. Well, technically, when you trade over news on a Monday when the market's closed, it's considered holding over a weekend. So I traded during that time and it violated that requirement. And then I lost that account too. So yeah, I've lost accounts. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes just like everyone else. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm gonna go grab some water. All right, guys, I'm back. Yeah, no problem, Akash. But yeah, back to your question, I did lose a couple. I mean, I lost the TFF account, which shouldn't have been lost, but I did lose an FTMO account in the past. I've actually lost two. I lost one where it was a long time ago with the holding over the weekend, and then there's another one where I forgot what happened. I think the system glitched or something, or the market kind of froze, and I wasn't able to pull out. But those are the only times. It's been a long time since then, aside from the TFF that happened recently, but it happens. I mean, the real thing with losing a funded account, guys, is just being able to bounce back, right? For me, if I was to lose an account today, or if I was to lose all my accounts today, I wouldn't really be bothered because I already made a lot of money from trading with them. So I know I can get them right back. So if I was ever to make a mistake, or if I was to if something was to happen where the system froze and then I lost all my accounts, I wouldn't really be upset because I already got my money's worth, trading with them. I'm basically just milking these companies for basically risk-free trading. um, for as long as I can. And now I'm stacking up multiple accounts, right? So like now I have the third account with MFF. So hopefully I'll be done with that soon, and I'll be maxed out with MFF. I'm already maxed out with FTMO, and then next MFF, and then after that, I guess I could play around with other companies. Probably not TFF. I mean, I'm probably never going to do TFF again because they kind of screwed me over. Um, but yeah, other than that, I think I'm okay with those two right now. So let's see, another question from Zildjian. Zildjian's asking, hey, Sean, can you go over how spread works and where I can check the spread number? So, I mean, it depends on what broker you're using. Zildjian, I'm pretty sure you're using MT4 to execute trades like everyone else. So I can't pull up my MT4 on this screen, my main screen. I have three screens. So I have one screen with just trading view. I have one screen with MT4, and then I have another screen with the chat. I can't pull up my MT4 on the main screen. Let me see if I could maybe find a video for you here on YouTube. Let's see. All right, so if you just Google or not Google, go to YouTube and YouTube MT4 spread Zildjian, it'll kind of show you right here exactly how to calculate it. I can't do it right now because it's every time I pull over my MT4 to my main screen, it just screws up my entire MT4, and then I can't even use it after reinstall it. So I'm not going to do that. But basically what you'll do is, so you have two prices. You have the bid price and ask price. This is like the way to do it from scratch. Like if you really want to do it by hand, you just pull up the ask price, and you subtract it by you pull up the ask price, which is the blue number. This is a buy price, right? So like if you want to do it by hand, you just type that in 32283, and then you subtract it by the red number, which is the bid price, which is 32277. So this will give you the number 6, which indicates that the spread is 60 pips. 6 points equals 60 pips. That's how you find the spread if you're doing it by hand. You're not going to do this by hand, obviously. It's just too much work. So what you'll do on MT4 is you can open the it's called Market Watch. So if you look at your MT4 and you scroll down, there is like buttons there. There's like a plus button, two screens button, which is profiles, and then one that has a plus and a minus button, which says Market Watch. When you pull that up, a pop-up will come up, and then it'll have all of your symbols right there. Sometimes on your symbols, it'll have the bid price, ask price, and then the spread price. If you don't have that, just right click on your chart and then enable spread. It'll have the spread price right there. So that's the easy way to do it, because it'll just say the spread on the side. Realistically, it's not really a big deal. It's not something that you really need to focus on if you're trading during New York session. During Asia session, you definitely need to focus. You have to have that open, because if your spread's like 600 pips and you're entering a trade and your stop loss is like 300 pips, you're going to automatically lose that trade as soon as it goes into any drawdown. So hopefully that made sense, Children. I wish I could like copy this over, but I can't. I mean, or drag my MC4 over, but I can't, because it's there's been too many issues. Actually, that's like how I almost blew my account the last time, because I dragged my screen over, and then what happened is that it screwed up my DOM. So when I entered my DOM, I couldn't exit the trade, so I had to pull up my phone and exit it. So I'm not going to risk it by moving it over again. But Zildjian, so the way that you can do it the easy way is just click on Market Watch, and then when you're on your Market Watch pop-up, right click on the chart and make sure that spread is enabled. Spread should be the last box on your screen. Here, let me see if I can take a screenshot. I'll just take a picture of it. Okay, let me see if I can put this. Here, I'll just put it over here on this thing. Okay. So this is all right. So this is what it would look like. This is the market watch button right here, Zildjian. It's this third button right here. And then this will come up right here on your screen. When this comes up right here, you could right click on the screen and then make sure that spread's enabled. This third box right here is a spread. This is the bid price, the ask price. There's just kind of a lot of work right here for you to do it yourself. So if you turn on the spread, this number right here is going to be the spread. You can see it's 220 right now. However, the market is closed. So this isn't going to be changing anytime soon until the market does open. When the market opens, it's probably going to be a bit wider. It's going to probably be like 330 or 440 because it's Asia session. So this is where you would do it. Just click on that right there. This will come up, right click on the chart, hit spread, and then it'll have the spread number right there. That's how you'll be able to identify it quickly on FTMO. Yep, no problem, Zildjian. Glad I could help you with that. All right, next question here is from Solo. Solo's asking, with say the V3, does there have to be a wick on the high? Example of this is at 8:39. Let's go over here real quick. 8:39 in my time, which should be let's see. Actually, this one right here, right? So typically you do want a wick on top because the variation is a rejection. It's like it's basically a rejection strategy. So let me go over here real quick. I know we don't have that in the requirements because you don't typically get a high like this. Like in order for you to get a high, you typically want a wick, right? Because if you look at any other highs here, everything has a wick, right? You don't typically get a strong candle and then it becomes a high. Typically it pushes up and bounces off. You don't really get these too often, so that's why I don't really incorporate it into the requirements, because if I feel like if I make it too specific, people are going to get confused, right? So for the most part right here, I wouldn't take this trade right here because it shows a strong candle. It might not be common knowledge to most people, but I mean, for you, Solo, you probably understand what I'm talking about, right? Like for every other strategy, like for using the V2, if you're looking for something with a strong candle, like for this, just using this as an example, we're looking for a strong candle. If you have a strong candle like that, typically price can keep pushing that way. It might retrace a little bit, but it'll keep going that direction. So like, for example, here, confirm the high, yeah, strong candle right there, fourth requirement. Let me see if there was any sessions around this area. I think there was, right? Yeah, I was really close to right there. Or I mean, it was in between the sessions. So for this right here, I know it's not one of the requirements. It just says, confirm the high low and confirm the high as a green candle. So for this entry right here, Solo did identify this as a V3. So if you were to take this trade here, which I wouldn't, there's a couple of reasons why I wouldn't take it, but going back to your question, for that specific reason too, I wouldn't have taken it. Maybe I should add that as a red flag. But it doesn't come up too often, so I don't think it's something that needs to really be identified. But anyways, looking at this right here, you can see that. So I'm gonna give you guys a couple of reasons why I wouldn't take this trade. For one, it's a strong candle. I know this isn't like something that I normally go over or even pay attention to, because it's something that you don't normally see. Every high low here usually has a wick, even a small wick at the very least. One reason would be that. Second reason would be that the TP would have to be at the at the sessions, obviously. So whenever price is near the sessions, like if it has to cut through the sessions to hit TP, I don't even bother taking it. But yeah, short answer to your question is yes and no. So because technically, yes, you should have to have a wick on top, because if you're looking for high lows, you typically want to see price kind of bounce. Like right here, for example, high, wick, low, wick, high, wick, low, wick, high, wick, low, wick, etc. So yes, you would want a wick on top, even a little wick. If you scroll in very tightly, there's like literally no wick here at all. Like if I was to put a line there, I'm like curious to I'm wondering like what happened right here. So I think what might have happened right here was some manipulation. If you could kind of get what I'm pointing at right here, Solo. So what I'm assuming here, because I can see the gap right here, right? There's a gap. Usually when these candles close, they have to be lined up, right? Like if this closes green, it pushes up and it lines up. Same with this right here, right? Price comes down and then it lines up. But you can see that volatility here was very high. So it doesn't really line up. There's like small gaps in between, like right here. This should have been lined up with that. Same with this. This should have been lined up with that. And this should have been lined up with that right there. Like if you go to the other ones over here, like these candles, like say for example, like this right here, see how these line up? Typically that's where it's supposed to line up, but I wasn't live during this time at 8:30, 8:38. So I'm assuming at this point, there was just like random spikes of volatility. So you get a lot of fake outs here. Price comes up and then it comes down slightly to retrace, you know, mid candle, and then it just shoots up higher. And I'm sure that's what happened right here, right? Yeah, that's basically what happened right there. Yeah, a lot of this stuff is like stuff that I personally know what to look for because, you know, this is all I trade. So I know exactly what these like fake out patterns look like. But yeah, short answer to your question is yes, you probably want a wick. And it's just from, let me see if I can probably run through this. Let's see. So price shot up a little bit. Okay, I could kind of see right there. So what happened with this candle right here was it goes up and then right here kind of bounces down a little bit and it shot up super fast. And then it came right back down and shot right back up. Yeah, typical fake out pattern. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up, Solo. Maybe I'll probably add that to like one of the requirement or maybe the red flags at some point. But I think right now it's just not, it doesn't come up too often. So it's not really a big deal for most people. Yeah, Solo said, normally I only take one with a wick, but just wanted your feedback on it. Yeah, we don't see it too often. I'm kind of curious now. I'm looking around to see if it comes up, but it doesn't really come up at all. Like all of these have wicks. Wick, 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 wick. Yeah, literally everything has a wick. So yeah, I don't think it's really necessary. Does this one have a wick? Yeah, it does. It's super small though. Yeah, even like something like this would be perfect, would be fine, right? This has a very, very small wick, but if you were to take this for a V3, looks like it still hits TP. So yeah, the wick is definitely important. All right, so let me see if there's any other questions here. Let me scroll up real quick. I think that's it for the questions right now. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat, right? This whole session is for you guys. You know, I don't mind staying on here. We've been on these sessions for like almost 3 hours on some days because we have so many questions. Today is just a bit of a quiet day. Maybe you guys just understand the strategies now. You guys just don't need as much help, which is a good thing. And I think that might be the case because I do see, you know, these are the profits from today. We've seen a lot of people like Purity here locked in, you know, 318. These are the profits that came in after the live session. So I'm just going to go over them, you know, lightly. Purity locked in 318 for the day. Sisu locked in 12,000 for the day. Maddie locked in 11,000 for the day. Rick locked in 2,000 for the day. Marco here, you know, 173. Sisu again, 3,600, etc. Pretty much all these profits here came in after the live session. Rami over here too. Rami just sent in his profits, yeah, post live session. So these are what Rami locked in after the live. Locked in a total of 499 off this account. Locked in a total of 69 off this account. And a total of 1,959 off this account. Nice programming. So unfortunately, the profits are already posted. So I'll post these tomorrow, Rami, for the next posting. But yeah, we already posted up the profits for today. So if you guys haven't seen the video, every day I post up the videos. You know, we're still going strong, guys. We haven't had one day of no profits for like over a year now. So if you go back any day of the, like literally I could go back any day of the year, you know, random day like January 26th, right? We have all the profits from January 26th. And these are all the people who've locked in profits that day. So, I mean, this is consistency. I'm just showing you guys that, you know, there's always profits to be made. It doesn't matter what day it is. You know, like the day before New Year's right here, there was still profit. Let me see if there's a profit post. There was. So right here on December 29th, right? Even during the holidays, people are scared to trade, but we still trade and there's still profits to be made. So if you guys are familiar with the strategies here, there's always profits to be made. You know, this is why it's always important that you guys actually learn the strategies and you guys just don't depend on copying trades, which I mean is fine. You guys can, if you guys are still learning, it's great. But you know, there's always going to be times where you guys want to be self-efficient with taking, you know, either trades on your own or being able to analyze so that your analysis will line up with mine. Yeah, Solo said, yeah, I feel like it just clicks one day. Yeah, no, exactly. And I feel like that's how it is with a lot of people. Like if you guys, you know, I always talk about Steven in the group. Steven's been part of K2 for like over a year now. He was like doing horribly for like the first half, but that was because he was in a different community. So he was in K2 and he was in a different group as well. He would mix up the two. So he'd mess up doing K2 because he would learn other stuff. And then now that he sticks to just K2, he's been super profitable every single day. You know, 1,000 profit a day from Steven. So just like what Solo said, sometimes if you guys just keep trying, eventually it'll just all click and you'll understand how to do everything. And that's kind of how it is, guys. I mean, like if you learn anything, not just trading, but if you learn anything, if you're learning a language, like trading is like learning another language. You just got to keep practicing until you you really get it. But yeah, I mean, if you guys have any other questions, if you want me to cover any strategies, anything that you're confused with, anything that you need some clarification on, you know, just feel free to ask it. And again, if you guys are not familiar with the, or if you guys, let me see if I can find, I was going to pull up the course again. Oh, here we go. So here's the course. Like if you guys haven't gone through the course, make sure to go through everything. I made these videos very short. I made them like a minute or 2 minutes long. Like you can see right here, these are like a minute long, right? If you need the very bare basics. You know, if you want to learn the breakout strategy, it's explained right here. If you want to learn how to use the indicators, all the indicators are explained on here as well. If you want to learn any of the scalping strategies, they're like all broken down here. Super quick videos. They're like 2 minutes long. Like if you want to learn the high-low scalp strategy, right? You click on that, you go to the video, and the video is like literally, here, I'll show you real quick. It's not that long. It's super short. It's and these ads. All right, so this ad's done. Okay, so this video is 2 minutes and 46 seconds, right? You guys can sit down for 2 minutes and watch this video and understand how to do the high-low scalp. And then when you guys do this, when you guys learn the strategy, if you guys have any questions in specific, then during the mentoring sessions like today, you guys can ask me specific questions and I can show you examples all over the chart. So, you know, if you guys have time or if you guys want to learn, everything is here. The high-low scalp, the 1 minute pivot scalp, 1 minute triple confluence. Literally every strategy we do on the live session is covered right here. 1 minute variation V1, 1 minute variation V2, 1 minute variation V3, snipe strategy, daily strategy. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple, guys. That's pretty much, I mean, literally everything's here if you guys want to go and learn it. Okay, so question for Be Motivated. Be Motivated is asking, how do you get the confidence to get into a trade? Sometimes I hold back a lot because I don't want to get burnt, especially this being my first FTMO account. Sometimes I'm unsure if you're hopping in a trade or not, especially when it's speculative. That's like a personal issue that you have to overcome yourself. Yeah, like what Purdy said. So Purdy said do a demo first. So that's really what it is, guys. Like, you know, I could give you guys as much confirmation as possible, and depending on yourself, if your trade psychology is there, you'll take it, right? You'll trust the move. If your trade psychology is not there, it doesn't matter how confident I am about an entry, you're not going to take the trade, or you'll second guess it. That's what happens with a lot of people. So trade psychology isn't something that you just develop overnight, right? If you don't have trade psychology and you have bad habits, like, I'm assuming, well, I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys here came from a different group. So be motivated. You probably came from a different group and you applied different strategies and they didn't work well, right? You didn't have a high success rate there, which is normal because a lot of people that come to K2 have the same situation. You guys are kind of scarred from that because you guys are used to like losing trades. So what I would recommend is either take trades with a smaller lot size or take it on a demo. I would personally just say use a smaller lot size, use a half lot or use even smaller than a half lot. And then once you keep winning trades, your confidence is going to build up because you're going to start to trust the strategy. The only way to trust the strategy is to see it actually work, right? That's the only way that you can really trust it. I mean, if you've seen everyone's profits from today, people are taking entries that I was saying were super risky, right? But a lot of people here are still locking in like massive profits, like Narith over here. He was taking these trades off my analysis. You made 7,000 for the day. I didn't even take these trades. I took like one trade today and that was it. He took like a bunch of them just off whatever came up on his screen, right? And you can see he changes his lot size sometimes. If he's not feeling comfortable with it, he'll change it to something smaller. Like normally he takes a 5. For this one, he took a 1 because he probably didn't feel comfortable about it. Let me see who else here. Kevin over here is experienced, so he knows what he's doing, but he's pretty much took trades off my analysis too. He took pretty much, I think, like almost every trade that came up, took it with a 1 lot, smaller lot size, but it still added up to some pretty heavy profit, right? I mean, comparing to me right here, I only took 2 trades. Technically 1, because this was taken yesterday during Asia, and this one was taken today. So for the most part, I would recommend that you should probably take a smaller lot size. I know you're not gonna make as much profit as you would if you took a full lot size, but it's not gonna hurt you as much, right? Like say for example, if you're normally using a 10 lot and then your risk is like $1,000, if you use like a 5 lot, you're gonna risk 500. So it's not really gonna bug you too much if you take the loss, if that becomes the case. I think also the main thing that you want to confirm too is to confirm all the requirements, right? As you've seen a lot of people in the group, they select the V3. For me, I always use the bias, right? This is number 1. I don't take any trades unless it fits all these requirements. That's why I don't have that many entries, because not all of these requirements are met. You'll see a lot of people here still take trades because they'll just skip over the bias, which is okay sometimes if the bias is super strong or it's been strong. But typically you want everything to meet. So what I would recommend is to always confirm the bias and confirm the red flags. Once you confirm everything's been met, make sure you look at so here, I'm gonna put these up here. For me personally, if you confirm all these things here, overall bias and red flags, you make sure you don't trade around these areas. 9 times out of 10, your trade's probably gonna hit. Like this is the reason why I have such a high win rate. I don't take too many trades, but I also don't lose too many trades like ever, because I confirm that these trades are like 100%. So my advice is to confirm all of these are met and then take a trade with even a smaller lot size, a half lot size, and then you'll make profit, right? Like 1 win's going to be okay. You're somewhat confident. You take 2 wins, you're getting more confident. You take 3 wins back to back to back, you're super confident, right? But this is where it really comes into play, because once you take that 3rd win, what happens? You stop using this, right? So once you take that 3rd win, I'm looking for X. What is it? X to okay. So once you take that 3rd win, what happens? You stop following your plan. And I see this happen with so many people. It drives me crazy. So I'm like, what are you doing different? And they're like, oh, well, I stopped using the requirements, right? They stopped looking at the requirements that they did that helped them build a confidence. So what happens is you get too overly confident and then you stop following the bias, and then you stop using the red flags because you're like, okay, I'm on top of the world. I'm gonna win every single trade. And then you start losing, and then there goes your confidence again. So what I'd recommend is to like only take quality trades. And once you've built your confidence, continue taking quality trades, because this is what happens with a lot of people. They'll get too confident and then they'll stop using the bias and they'll stop using the red flags. And then from there, they start losing trades, and then they're in a downward spiral where they just end up losing trade after trade after trade, because then they start taking random trades. right? Because they just want a revenge trade and they want to make the money back, but they just end up losing even more. So my main word of advice would be to take quality trades and smaller lot size. From there, build your lot size up. So go maybe half lot size and then add another lot size to it and another one to it until you're back to full lot size. And then from there, you'll be confident about it. So yeah, hopefully that helps. I know it's going to take some time, but eventually you're going to start to have the confidence to take, a lot of trades just like everyone else. Oh, Swelly. Okay, gotcha. I keep forgetting that's your username, but yeah, 100%. Just build up from there. Because here's the thing, like, I know you're on your FTMO or your challenge or whatever. You still have like a full month, bro. So you can take half lot sizes and you'll be fine. Or you can pull a Steven and just take the breakout every morning. Build up your account from there, and then pass. But realistically, you want to build up your confidence and your in your trade psychology early on, because you want to be doing well here, and then you get funded, and then you're lost, right? I see that happen with a lot of people. They get funded too fast trading with us, and then they lose all their confidence once they're funded. All right. So other than that, let's see. Solo had some input. Solo said, personally, I replay all the trade days for the week on the weekend and see if I can identify the trades markup to see if they hit. Helps a lot to help them identify trades do come up. I found that helps with confidence. Yeah, and that's one thing you can do too, Swell. Like if you have some free time during the day, just rewatch the live session. Live session's only like an hour, right? So instead of you sitting down and watching Netflix or watching TV or doing something else that's unproductive, you can just watch the live sessions. And then as I analyze, just watch for entries, right? Like you can probably spot them before I do, because that's what happens in the group. Like I'm not even spotting the trades, and we have people in the chat popping in, asking or saying like, "Hey, there's your trade coming up," and you can probably identify that yourself. And then that will just, you'll be ready for when that does happen live. So yeah, I mean, other than that, I think that's it for now. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I think that's it for the questions right now. If you guys do have any other questions, feel free to put them in, and I'm willing to stay on here and answer more questions for you guys. So other than that, let me see if there's anything else over here. Yeah, I don't really see anything. Let me check the sentiment. I just want to see if it's still pretty bearish. Oh yeah, it's very bearish, guys. I would not take any buys. I can see a lot of people. I mean, it's crazy. I've been watching like, because I do follow other traders, of course, that are friends and not friends and enemies, I guess, where they see me as an enemy. I follow like other people too, and I see a lot of people telling people to buy the dip. I would not buy the dip, guys, because I think this thing's going to keep dipping. So just keep that in mind, right? Like I've been well, I don't really follow people, but they do send me stuff, and I see a lot of people, they're trying to buy the dip here. And the thing is, I don't think it's gonna come up yet. So just be careful. The bias right now is a very strong sell. We have a lot of people are here basically praying. Like this number here is so big. I feel like all these people entered buys over here as it was dumping. So like people are just stacking up their buys around here, right? So here's what you guys want to keep an eye out for. There's a lot of liquidity sitting up here. I'm going to mark up the liquidity here on the 10-minute because it's easier to see. Let me just show you guys where the liquidity is sitting. Actually, you can't really see it here on the 10 because we're already at that low. Well, check this out. There is a lot of liquidity here on the 1-minute. So yeah, you can expect price to push up a little bit, but I think overall price is going to come back down. It's going to knock out all this liquidity here. So there's a lot of liquidity sitting here. Price might push up a little bit during, Asia session, but as it continues to push up higher, just remember that there's liquidity sitting down here. So that, this is what might happen. And I'll give you guys a little sneak peek of like what I typically do. So let's see. I can't go that far out. Okay, so this is usually where the market starts to reverse back. So a lot of the times I'll like trade around this period here. Like volatility would probably be pretty dead over here. You know, price will start to push. So this is what I typically see happen. Price will push up a little bit, go sideways, come down a little bit, go back up, sideways, go up. And then once it gets closer, like 10 p.m. my time, this is like the time where I start to see like our mid-market reversal from New York to happen during Asia. It's around this period, around like 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. my time. And then right here, I start to see the reversal as we get closer to start to push up a little bit. And then it starts to like dump pretty heavily right here once it gets closer to London Open. So this is kind of like what I see happening from now until London Open. I do see it push up a little bit, but one thing you want to keep an eye out for is the liquidity that's going to build up on the bottom. Because once this liquidity is built up, you'll know exactly where price is probably going to be dropping from. If you guys decide to trade during Asia, I probably am not going to trade during Asia. If I see something really good, I'll take it. But for the most part, I don't, you know, I'm going to be a bit careful because this is all a gamble right here, especially during off session hours. Yeah, Rami said there's a big crash going on with the crypto right now. All the crypto guys don't understand the Fed will crush everything, including crypto, with the interest hikes. Yeah, no, exactly. And I agree with you too, Rami. You know, even my homie that if you guys saw my buddy, well, if you guys follow my personal Instagram, you guys saw my homie with like the Rolls Royce, right? The guy that parked next to me today. He's my guy that I work out with, like one of my buddies. He trades crypto and he's waiting for the dump. He's got a lot of money waiting. He's gonna wait for it to dump. He thinks it's gonna dump like sometime in the summer. And he's just gonna have money sitting. So when it dumps, he's gonna buy it for a super low discount. So yeah, I mean he kind of knows his stuff too, because he trades cryptos. That's how he got his car. That's how he got the Rolls Royce. So that's kind of what I'm doing too. I'm just waiting. Same, well, it doesn't really affect us with US 30 because we trade this both ways. But for something with like Bitcoin or some other cryptos, we're kind of just waiting. Like for him, he pulled out like 70% of his holdings. Like he was pretty deep on like I forgot what that shit's called. The I don't know, it's not Bitcoin, it's the other one. Whatever the other big crypto is. Let me see if I can find it here. Yeah, Ethereum. So he has a lot in Ethereum and Bitcoin, and he pretty much sold off all this Bitcoin before it dumped. So like before it dumped over here, pretty much sold off like right here, like towards the end of last year, like around October. He sold off all of it. He's just sitting on it right now, waiting for it to dump further. He thinks like maybe around like sometime in the summer, July or whatever, it'll dump even further. Like he thinks this thing's gonna dump even further. So basically just waiting for the discount. So this thing dumps super far down, I'll just buy it for, you know, dirt price and then just ride it all the way back up. And that's kind of what I'm doing too. I don't really trade crypto, but I do buy and hold Bitcoin if I find a good opportunity. But man, this thing is dumping right here. Yeah, no, exactly. Rami said, yeah, I think a lot of people will get burnt was people that are cash ready in for a big treat. Yeah, no, exactly. And that's exactly what a lot of us are doing right now, for all the long-term moves. Like, yeah, Rami said, it's definitely a good thing we trade both ways. Yeah, no, exactly. And that's why the bias here is really important, right? So the thing is, using the bias here, you can kind of see where, you know, let's see if there's IG sentiment for Bitcoin. So all right, so we got another IG sentiment right here. So I don't see it right there. Let's see. Yeah, dude, look at this. It's just like US 30. Bitcoin's 84% long. You think I'm going to take any buys right here? I'm for sure not taking any buys because everyone's buying Bitcoin. They think that push up is going to happen, but I highly doubt it. It's the same with our US 30 here, right? 69% long. I'm definitely not buying. It works the same way, guys. Like, if you want to use bias for Bitcoin, it's the same thing. It's if everyone's buying, you're going to do the opposite. Just don't tell anybody you're doing that because then everybody's going to do it. And then it's not going to work for us anymore. But it doesn't matter. If things stop working with like what we're doing now, I always find a new solution to it. I've been training for so long where this kind of stuff doesn't really phase us in K2. Like if things change in the market, I know how to adjust to the market. So it doesn't really make a difference. If things start to range, that's fine. I know how to trade during a ranging market. If things start to consolidate or go crazy, that's cool too. I've been trading for a long time where I know how to adapt with the market conditions. A lot of people don't know how to do that. And you guys have been trading, for you guys who have been trading with me for like the past 4 or 5 years, you guys have seen the market change. And I always find a way to make profit in the market. It's not that difficult. I mean, it's not that difficult once you know what you're doing. But yeah, for Bitcoin, I definitely would not buy Bitcoin right now. If you see the sentiment change and this becomes short, yeah, of course, I'll start buying. Basically what I'm looking for is I'm looking for the bandwagoners to switch over, right? Because right now everyone thinks Bitcoin's going to come up. So if everyone's trying to buy the dip, I'm waiting for people to start selling. So once people start to hop on the sell, then I'm like, all right, now it's time to buy because I'm trying to do the opposite of everybody. Man, this is crazy. If you guys look here, there was a lot of, let's see. Because there's actually a lot of entries here. Up here real quick. Take out these plots. So I've seen some people use the V3s here, right? Like, dude, there's a lot of money. I should be using V3s here on the Bitcoin. So like, for example, right here, there's a V3 right over here. Take a V3 right there. I think I'm going to start trading Bitcoin to take these V3s because look at those big profits you could make. I mean, I don't typically trade Bitcoin daily, but if you just take, I mean, basically all the sells. I mean, I don't recommend you guys just take all the sells, but if you guys do see some good sells here, there's a lot of good entries to take. Oh yeah, Rami needs to check. Yeah, so Rami said he took all the V3s on the weekend for Bitcoin, and he just had a field day. I'm letting it load right now, Rami. But Rami did post his profits right here. He was pretty much playing with Bitcoin over the weekend. And big congrats to your wife too that got that passed her challenge. I mean, that's pretty amazing that you taught your wife. Like your wife just sits on the live sessions on YouTube and then she passes her challenge. But yeah, if you could teach her the strategy to the V3, I mean, she'll be killing it, right? So Rami here played with, sorry guys, you guys hear my doorbell. Yeah, no, Rami here, he traded Bitcoin over the weekend and Ethereum. So Bitcoin right here, he basically took all the V3s, took one loss, which it happens. You can't have a perfect streak all the time, but pretty much overall made a profit of 677. And this is over the weekend. This isn't even over, like, I know Rami over here is kind of addicted, right? He's taking all these trades over the weekend when he should be relaxing. But yeah, I mean, if you find something like this, you could literally make profit every day, whether it be through crypto, whether it be through US 30, super solid. But yeah, I mean, I think that's it for today, guys. If you guys have any other questions, we've been on this mentoring session for a bit over an hour. I don't mind staying on, but we just don't have any questions to cover today. So, just a reminder, if your question did get answered today, guys, we do this weekly. So, no. So PC is asking, so trade Bitcoin in the 4-hour time frame. I mean, not necessarily. I mean, you could trade, there's an entry there. There's entries there. It doesn't really matter what time frame you trade on PC. I'm just showing you guys that there's an example here. I mean, just because I'm showing you guys something on the 4-hour time frame, It doesn't mean you have to trade on the 4 hour. I haven't showed any, there's no strategy that says, okay, Bitcoin 4 hour V3, right? It's the same with like other people here who trade, some people trade US 30 on like a 30 minute, right? If you want to try it out, you have to go try it out yourself to figure out what works. I don't trade Bitcoin. I kind of just said that I didn't trade it. So I don't know what's the best time frame. Rami said he did it on the 1 minute. So I guess the 1 minute works fine. But if you want to go test this out, you would have to go test it out yourself to see what works best. Just a reminder, I don't trade Bitcoin. So I can't tell you exactly what works. Yeah, no problem, BC. And if you find out something that works well, then, let us know and other people could try it out as well. But Rami's tried it on the 1 minute. He said it works really well. So that's a good start. But yeah, I think for Bitcoin, I don't trade Bitcoin, so I don't know what the lot size is like. If the lot sizes are like nano lot sizes, then you can trade on these bigger time frames and just let them run. It'd be like a cool set and forget type thing. Gotcha. Okay, good to know. Yeah, my brother. Yeah, I'm supposed to tell you guys. Like my brother, he made basically an EA for the V2s. He was running it yesterday. I was to go visit my family for Mother's Day, and he was running the V2s on market open. It's crazy. He was just like making a ton of profits, just automatic. So if that works, I'm probably gonna use it myself. I guess the V2 works really well, like during all conditions. But he made an EA for the V2, and he's pretty much took every trade and they all hit TP. He only goes for 100 pips on the 1 minute. And he was just like knocking out. He was like having back-to-back wins. I think he's been testing it. He had I think 30 or 40 wins and like one loss. I was like, damn, that's crazy. Because you think about it, you have 40 wins and you're going for 100 pips each. 40 wins times 100 pips each, right? It's like 40, it's like 4,000 pips there. If I'm taking out the 10 lot, that's 40K on an EA, right? An EA that actually works. I don't mess with EAs, but if that works, I wouldn't mind. I was telling him that I'm probably gonna fund like not a challenge because there's an issue with the challenge with the EA. Maybe I'll just fund like a personal account, put like a couple $1,000 in there, let it run and see how it plays out, which it'd be pretty crazy if it doesn't work very well. But I already know people are gonna ask, no, it's not gonna be available for you guys. So before you guys ask, there's your answer. Because I know people are going to ask if they can use it or if they can add their account to the copier or whatever. The answer is no, because I don't want to make you guys lazy. I want you guys to actually learn this stuff. So I already know those questions are going to come up. Answers already know. This is all just going to be for me and my brother. Maybe in the future, but definitely not anytime soon, because something like that needs to be tested long term before it can be, basically introduced to the public. Because what happens is a lot of people introduce stuff to the public and stuff doesn't even work, and then they end up calling those people scams, right? I definitely don't want to have that happen with us here. So other than that, guys, I think that's about it. So if you guys have any other questions, feel free to email me or message me on Telegram. We've been on this mentoring session for about an hour and a half. So if there's anything else that you guys want me to cover, just let me know. We're gonna have this mentoring session again next week, not on Monday. I will be in Vegas this weekend, so I will bring my laptop. We will go live on Monday in my hotel room, but no mentoring session this Monday or next Monday. I'll let you guys know when we'll have it next week. So yeah, have fun this weekend and then come back and trade with you guys on Monday. I'll probably be trading from the hotel room on Friday too. I'll see. I don't know. I'm gonna bring my laptop and we'll either way, we're still gonna be trading. So, all right, guys. Other than that, have a great rest of your day. If you guys have questions, feel free to email me or message me. Otherwise, we'll be back tomorrow for the next live session. So I'll see you guys then, and I'll catch you guys on the next live session tomorrow morning. So